We came here to Berlin together, a group of 18 of us. Student leaders from all across campus, selected amongst everybody else for their leadership. And the question many times people ask is, why Berlin? Many people think of Germany as that's a place that there's no hope. We come here, yes, we learned about the past, but more importantly, to see the Renaissance and be part of that Renaissance. They were deported away, we're coming back. And then their souls return to God.
It was like I had never known that there was such history behind this, behind the symbol of, like, one of the symbols of Judaism.
And this trip opened my eyes about all of the culture and the historical aspects behind.
This trip has been something really special. Let's share our experience here, with ourselves, our friends, our families in the future.
We are aware of how many people got taken to concentration camps, and like each number is a person, and it's not just a number.
I hope that this trip continues for many, many more years to come, because it's truly something special and we should never forget it.
This trip has given me an appreciation that I couldn't have had before.
An incredibly interesting experience and something that I will never forget for the rest of my life.
It really hit me, and it was like breathtaking.
We see that Jewish life lives and it thrives and it's so great here. One of the greatest things we have is the gift of the past. People that lived in the past. Let us take the time to learn from them. And let us bring it towards our future. We are so excited, we are so energized to be back here in Berlin, in a place that might seem, why would we be coming to such a place? Why are we coming to a place where there's such hardship? We are coming to be part of the Renaissance, to be part of the rebuilding, to be energized and to see life is not just about the past, it's about where we're going with the future. And we're here with us 17 leaders that could have been sitting on the beaches of Cancun, but instead they're here to be part of the Jewish future.
Welcome to Berlin. Let's hear that.
The main thing, obviously, of this trip is these students are the future. If you care about the future, it all happens with the students today. It's the battleground for our next generation. That is why myself coming here a few weeks before Passover is not so easy. My wife at home and the kids were getting ready for Pesach. But we decided to do this because we've seen the impact. If we don't invest in our students, we're not investing in our future. Because every student here, they are going to be a leader. And their impact and their pride and their wanting to be part of the future is crucial. And that is why it's so important. And that's why we come specifically to Berlin. Because when we go to Israel, it's great, and I do that. We go our birthright and everything. But a lot of people say it's cool to be Jewish in Israel. But can you be Jewish in the world beyond Israel? If you could be Jewish in Berlin, you could be Jewish anywhere. And that is what's so important. When our young American college Jewish kids see how strong Jewish life is here in Germany, it helps us all realize how vibrant our community is and how vibrant we can be when we get back home. It's a real honor to start our trip here in your office, straight from landing, the official welcoming occasion in your office. So the students here, every year, from our University of Illinois, which is one of the leading schools in America, there's a select group of students that take their break, instead of going off to vacation, they go to give back, community service, and to learn about another part of our history, and most important, to be part of the rebuilding. So what started 9 years ago was that we come here to learn about the history, but more importantly about where we're going. One of the biggest lessons we always learn on this trip is that if Jewish life could thrive so strong and so beautiful in Berlin, it gives us energy as we go back to our communities and say, if it could be strong and amazing here with a dark past, such a bright future, it could be like that in our community. So every day, doing learning, educating, community service, etc. And these are the select leaders. Not everybody could come on this trip. We only have every year 17 students and leaders together coming here. So these are the leaders of the leaders. So I'm so honored to have my brother here.
So special that you're here.
Not only
Amazing.
It's hard you have two tachtas together. We both don't stop talking. Can you imagine what happens at our parents' dinner table? Anyways, so I want to thank my brother Rabbi Yehuda for all his hard work to make Berlin happen. The whole trip, we just arrived. He put it all together with his staff. So thank you so much. We'll talk about it. So I remember the first time I came to Berlin in 1996 when you lived in a one-bedroom apartment around the corner. And I remember you did a public Jewish thing for Public Pesach. And I said, Rabbi, this is Berlin. Judaism is behind closed doors. And today we sit with the mayor. The mayor says, this is Berlin. Judaism is in public. This is the man, him and his wife, that made it happen. Representing the Rebbe.
Really very happy to welcome you with our whole heart. It's so special that you're here, and you're going to have an unbelievable, amazing experience.
Now you'll notice as we go up to the tracks, you'll notice a lot of metal grates. At every grate it says the date and how many people were deported and where they were deported to. You'll notice as the years go on, as it comes close to the end of the war, there's less Jews because there were so few Jews left here. Now, there's many different things to think about. It's number one, people in Germany said they didn't know what happened. The trains were leaving right here. People lived right here. It's not true. You can't claim you didn't know what's going on. But the second time, as we heard many times since we got it, that's why they're owning up to it at least. But we are here today for another reason. Firstly, to know about our history. July 17 is a very somber place. It's the last step people had. As you see when we go through Germany, we're going to see as we walk tomorrow, one of the things they put in front of many buildings called Stapelsteine, little stones on the floor, where it says who lived in that building and where they were deported. And as you step on them, they shine. But here we're coming to actually start our trip on our first formal place from our history, to tell us that this place, people came on a train and never came back. But we're coming back. When we come back, we're not just coming back for ourselves. We're coming back for them. We're coming back for those that never came back. And we have a responsibility, because what the Holocaust couldn't do, a lot of us, we could do ourselves. Meaning to say what Hitler tried to do was erase the Jews. By us not being involved in our Judaism, we're continuing, allowing what he wanted. So for all those that died for being Jewish, we have to live. And we're coming here and starting off our trip here because I think it's important. They were deported away, we're coming back. And these very same tracks, many people are taken away just for being Jewish, for no other reason, just for being Jewish. Our rabbis tell us that in every person there's two parts of a personality. You have your body and you have your soul. Your body is very selfish. What do I want for myself? What am I going to have? My soul is very selfless. What can I do for another? But for all the years in this world, the body and the soul get along. When someone passes on, they don't have the body anymore, but the soul lives on. In this place, thousands, hundreds of thousands of souls are connected, because it's exactly in this place that they were taken away and deported. And it's in this place that we have to connect with them and resolve to continue all that they have died for. And their souls return to God. For charity has been donated in remembrance of their souls. May their place of rest be in Gan Eden. Therefore may the All-Merciful One shelter them with the cover of his wings forever, and bind their souls in the bond of life. The Lord is their heritage, and may they rest in their resting place and peace. Many of them that were never brought to a resting place in peace. May their souls be at rest, and let us say, Amen. A normal place where Jews walked around, and one day over a few years it's all turned around, and suddenly instead of being the local, they became the pariah. Hai be'emunah shelema, Hai bevias HaMashiach, bevias HaMashiach ani ma'amin. Hai bevias HaMashiach, bevias HaMashiach ani ma'amin, which means I believe. Ani ma'amin b'emunah shelema, with complete faith. Bevias HaMashiach, the coming of the Mashiach. Ani ma'amin, I believe. Even though he may tarry, we have challenges. Im kazer, with all that, achakalo, I'll wait for him every day. We wait for better times, and we know there is going to be better times as we are walking away from the tracks. We are not being sent away from here. We're walking, but we have a job to do to bring the message that we're feeling right here back to people back home.
So behind me is an exact replica of the western wall of the Kotel. Kotel has 22 different types of stones. So this shul actually was nominated last year for the German Architectural Prize. It has 250 seats. That's the only mistake we made. It's much too small. We didn't imagine then that it would be too small. At 2 levels. The upper level is totally suspended in the air. This whole synagogue was designed around the women. Every seat where the women sit, they have a view of everything. So that's why it was done a bit like theater seating. One of these Torah scrolls that we have here, which is this Torah scroll right here, was actually found in a building, in the cellar of a building. It was taken by a Nazi of Yimach Shemoy and took it from a Jewish synagogue somewhere in Europe. We found it, the students of the yeshiva here, of the rabbinical seminary, reviewed it, found all the mistakes, we fixed it up, and now we're reading from that Torah. And that is what the Rebbe means, put someone at that Seder table. And really, this is really what we're all doing. This is really what you're doing. This is really what we're doing. This is really what Rabbi David is doing. We are here to once again to rewrite that Torah scroll. And every Jew is a letter in that Torah scroll. And that's really what it's about. Now, these are books over here that were actually printed in Berlin before World War II. As for example, a Talmud. They were printed in Berlin in various printing houses and other books as well. And the students, many things they do here, they do research on these books. Many of the books are missing, and many of the books are missing words. And now, this book here is called The Customs of Berlin, Chikur Minhagim Berlin, which was given out by my father-in-law, which writes many books. He's a great Torah scholar. And we found the old customs of Berlin. You know, many people have, what's the minhag, what's the custom? Many of the customs that we Jews around the world have come from Germany. By doing this, we continue the legacy. It's not only about the past, it's about actually continuing the Torah that was studied and researched, continuing here in Germany. So all of these things, many of these things were printed before the war. Some of them are missing, some of them are not really explained. And this is one of the things that's done here. So So this is actually an original book that we recovered from before the war, and this is the strength of the Jewish people. You know, there are many nations that are much bigger than Jewish people, but we are here. What's the secret of survival of the Jewish people? The Torah. And the fact that we have always studied Torah, and we have always delved into Torah, this is actually what guarantees our future.
So seeing like all the historical landmarks that I'd already been to was like pretty cool at a different age. Unexpected, like I've never had an experience like that as far as like dealing with my past and like the concentration camps and stuff like that. So that was like a pretty emotional experience, but also like something that was needed for like my past and future. So it's pretty cool.
I have an Oma, which for those of you that don't know is grandma in German, and she was actually in the Holocaust, and she and my aunt escaped through a water pipeline, and so they're still alive today. So for me it was a very like personal connection when we went there, and I don't know, it was very emotional for me, and I like visiting Holocaust memorials because it reminds me of what happened, and it's really interesting to me to help prevent it from happening in the future. So I thought it was really cool.
We see of how everything was foreseen, and if you look back at it, after the war there were very few Jews in Germany. 1990 there were only 30,000 Jews in Germany. Today there are 230. Why is that? That's mostly because of the immigration from Eastern Europe. Most people didn't see it come, and the Rebbe saw it come, and there's on one hand it's a great challenge because it's overwhelming, on the other hand it's a great opportunity. And every day, you know, when you go into the school, and the school is a building used by the Nazis, and you see children learning and playing sports and learning Judaism or learning math or whatever it may be, you say and you see that Netzach Yisrael lo yishaker, the victory of the Jewish people will forever be guaranteed. As long as we stick to who we are, we're going to be guaranteed to survive.
Cemetery is sacred ground. That's why I said we can put on a kippah. It's sacred ground. It's a holy ground. We're young and we should never have to think about these things, but it's a good thing to understand, because one day, if we ever have questions, we understand the importance of Jewish traditions in these areas. So what we're going to do today is, he said it's a very special place to many people, but unfortunately there's no descendants. So what our job is going to be is we're going to clear up the whole area. Every stone's a person. It's not like I'm looking at 21-year-olds, your age, 20-year-olds, who gave their lives to protect the Jewish people, protect other people. The Jews lived in Germany in a very good situation, and they fought in their army. And yet, if they were 20 in 1917, talking about they would have been 40 in the time of the war, the Second World War. So what we did today, coming here, firstly being here, the Kabbalah shares with us that the deceased ask when people don't visit them, they say, why is no one visiting me? It's so important to go to visiting cemeteries, say a prayer, the stone. And number two, we're going to make a prayer for them as well. Not only are we here to visit them, we cleaned up. Look at the difference when we walked in to when we walked out. This looks like Arlington, you know, it looks nice and clean and pristine right now.
שיר המעלות מעמקים קראסיך אדוני אדוני שימה בקולי תהיה אוזנך קשובה לכל תחנוני.
A God full of compassion who dwells on high, grant true rest upon the wings of the Shekhinah, and the exalted sufferers of the holy appear, who shine as the resplendence and the firmament of the souls of all those that are buried here in this section that we just cleaned in the cemetery, and all those that are buried in this entire cemetery, who have gone to their supernal world, for charity has been donated in remembrance of their soul. May their place of rest be in Gan Eden, therefore may the All-Merciful One shelter them with the cover of His wings forever, and bind their souls in the bond of life. The Lord is their heritage. May they rest in the resting place in peace. And let us say, Amen.
25 years. You go up to heaven, you climb all those stairs. They won't ask you were you wise like Solomon. They won't ask you were you strong like Samson. They'll ask just one question and you give just one answer. It's the end of the game and only one thing matters. They'll say, did you give it all you got? 'Cause in this life you only have what you got. So give it, give it, give it all you got. In this world we only have what we got. So give it, give it, give it all you got. If you say it's easy, I'll say it's not. You gotta give it, give it, give it, give it all you got. And if you say it's not for you, I'll say it's your lot. You gotta give it, give it, give it, give it all you got. And if you say you're tired, I'll say tick-tock. You gotta give it, give it, give it, give it all you got. And you could put my album on a shelf to rot. Just give it, give it, give it, give it all you got. Working so hard and wiping those tears, you look in the mirror, you face all your fears. Don't be a fool trying to be wise like Solomon. Only the weak try to be strong like Samson. Oh no, oh no. I did what I said, I got no one to blame. Only one thing matters at the end of the game. They'll say, did you give it all you got? 'Cause in this life you only have what you got. So give it, give it, give it all you got. In this world we only have what we got. So give it, give it, give it all you got. If you say it's easy, I'll say it's not. You gotta give it, give it, give it, give it all you got. And if you say it's not for you, I'll say it's your lot. You gotta give it, give it, give it, give it all you got. And if you say you're tired, I'll say tick-tock. You gotta give it, give it, give it, give it all you got. No need to put my album on the shelf to rot. Just give it, give it, give it, give it all you got.
Guys, one song comes to mind as we're standing with the Jewish pride and Jewish future. Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai.
So give it, give it, give it all you got.
driving here, it's the same routes that millions of Jews took, or hundreds of thousands of Jews. When we were in Gleis 17 3 days ago, they went this same exact trip. Most of those deportations were at the transit stops. We are taking the same exact route that they took, and but we are going not God forbid like they were going. We are going to learn about a past and dedicate to the future. Thank you, God, for giving me another day. As I travel the countryside, I imagine Jewish people running through these fields, trying to hide between these houses, seeing these same exact mountains, yet looking above them and not knowing will they survive. I look around these mountains, I think, what is it that they saw? What is it that we are seeing? What was going through their minds? And I look at the pictures, it's all black and white. But this is exactly where they were. The saddest part is that most of the people that were transported here were children.
Sad symbols of Nazi propaganda or propaganda against the Jews whatsoever. arrived here, those, for instance, very rich German elderly Jews who expected to be taken care of by young Jewish servants, because this is what they were told, you will get 2 teenage Czech servants that will attend to you 24 hours a day. And one of my friends in the community, she told me, we were 12 years old, we were making fun of those old folks because they stepped out of the train and they were saying, but remember, they're having the tuxedos and the canes and the cylinders, remember I only breakfast apricot jam on a fine Chinese. These people, they were expecting villas with, medical attention, everything, and then they were given these directions vis-a-vis the documents. They came here. They saw this.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. And I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord. Can you feel it coming in the air tonight? Oh Lord.
And look here, this is a synagogue in the middle of a camp, ghetto, camp, transport, any term you want to use. People are dying by the dozens an hour. And you would think that, maybe people would put something makeshift together, but they never gave up their hope and their positive thinking. Well, where are we going from here? Even though many people died. You look at the word, it says, put your eyes, it says, our eyes turn, the shufcha, seeing, and take us back to Zion with rachamim, with much compassion. And this is just from today's prayer service, a Thursday morning service I was just praying this morning. Anna, God, please return, which speaks about them when God exiled the Jews from your displeasure, and have compassion on your chosen nation. And it says a very important line where Betsy is standing. It says, Achinu Beis Yisrael, our brothers, our family of the house of Israel, Hanesunim Batzara, that find themselves in struggle. Wherever they are around the world, we are one big family. And this is what they're writing during the war. We'll sing this song that we sang, what's written on the wall of so many people's hearts. What the Jews sang as they entered, many Jews that were here and went to Auschwitz eventually, how they believe. We believe that things will be better, and things are better. And just as David shared about that family that owned the building right on top of us, they kept this for the future generations. We have to keep this to share when we come back home. The feelings, the feelings that we have, and the experiences that we're feeling with our friends back home. Both the challenge and the way we go from here as well.
The peak of the Jewish town in terms of culture, in terms of rabbinical thought, art, and in terms of population was around the time of the Maharal Prague, the famous Rabbi Lev of Prague, who resided here at the second half of 16th century. At the second half of 16th century, beginning of 17th century, 1 out of every 3 Praguers was a Jew. 1/3 of the population lived here. In fact, Jewish people scattered around Europe in diaspora, they were very well respected part of the society because they were the only people in those proto-European societies that could read and write. So they were crucial for the foundation of European societies.
I think in Europe here, everyone just understands the historical aspect and why it's so important to remember where you came from, because remember where you came from will lead you to where you are.
It's hard to believe that this city was like a world of evil, like way back then. Like I do know it now, and like obviously I like learned that and knew that. And I think it's really special to see firsthand how that is happening and help in a way to make Jewish life stronger and better here in Berlin, and now that we've done this experience back in the United States.
To be honest, some emotions that I've never seen in myself came out when I visited Theresienstadt, and it was something that really made me feel a strong connection for what actually happened, and I was able to feel the emotions that I've always wanted to feel, because to be honest, when I left Sachsenhausen after my last trip, I felt guilty for not really feeling anything. I just went about it as a tourist, and my visit to Theresienstadt really made me feel like I witnessed something that is something that should never be done again, and it's an awful event, and we should never forget, and we should educate the future about. And I was able to feel emotions that I've always wanted to feel because I needed to feel, because I'm a Jew, and that's our responsibility to feel.
I think one common thing is that we are all Jewish and we do all know the same songs and prayers, and that when we're all together we can all recite them and act as one family. But there are some differences in terms of customs. I think that here it's a little bit more like family oriented. There's like a lot more like celebrations in a way, and that like at home, like people aren't as like open to like celebrate their Judaism and like be excited about being Jewish.
Wait till tomorrow. Put it away and take
People here, it's so open, and it's so open-minded and positive, and it's sometimes not viewed like that back in the United States. And I think my previous impression of Europe is just how different it is, how we're so different in America. We do things so much differently, and it's honestly, I think Europe does things almost better than we do, and it's nice to get to come here. It's refreshing. It's a change of scenery, and it's really, it's amazing to get to experience that kind of culture that's different than American culture. And
one of the moments that stuck out to me most was at the Jewish school. There was the falcon, which is a symbol of Hitler youth training, and the falcon is still standing at the Jewish day school. And I thought like that, and now it's like watching children say the Shema every morning. I thought that was just amazing, because it shows like we were told like we can't do it, but now we are doing it.
I'm a little unsteady.
You know, I've heard about it, I've read about it, and as a Jewish kid growing up, you know about the Holocaust. This trip has given me an appreciation that I couldn't have had before. Seeing the crematorium building was an extremely heavy moment. Just seeing the barracks they lived in, seeing obviously it's just the worst thing.
Don't let
trip was incredibly emotional, but also like seeing the history of Berlin and how far it's come since then, especially looking towards the future of the city and seeing the Jewish community at Chabad, seeing the young Jews at the school has been like an incredible experience.
And I want to tell all our students, each and every one of you, we're so special to take this trip with you. Each time I come to Germany, I look through it through your eyes. I look through it through your experiences. This trip has been something really special. To see each and every one of you from the first meeting in January to every meeting now, to see it till tonight as we're about to board the plane in a few hours. Just for that, it's worth it. And I wish you continued growth, continued happiness, continued success. And as we spoke here, every one of us, if Hitler searched out every Jew with hate, let's dedicate to search out every Jew with love. Let's share our experience here with ourselves, our friends, our families in the future. One of the greatest things we have is the gift of the past. People that lived in the past. Let us take the time to learn from them. And let us bring it towards our future. L'chaim. Let's have lots of energy. I love you all.